Hey everybody, welcome to part 3 of This Is How You Don't Beg for a New PC. Today on Phil's podcast, Phil again went on to this fucking piece of shit PC that he's basically begging for. Now, I'm 100% sure now that Phil, or whoever the cuck is that's gonna buy this PC for Phil, I am 100% sure they watched my videos so far, because Phil's used terminology like luxury tax that I've used and stuff like that. So I'm pretty certain he's watched the videos, and whoever's going to buy this PC no longer wants to spend the $3,000 that Phil wanted, realizing that it can be done for much cheaper. So basically, this part 3, now that Phil has basically stated what he wants now versus what he wanted like a week or two ago. So this basically, I can narrow it down now to an actual cost of how much this is going to cost Phil, or whoever this cuck is that's going to basically buy it for him, which is full of shit. I don't think anybody's actually going to buy it for him anymore, because he's going to hold a fundraiser, and then so-and-so is going to buy it for him, and then he's going to hold the fundraiser again, and then so-and-so is going to buy it for him. So again, it's going to be a beg from the pay pigs and the whales that are going to have to fork over the money so Phil can get this new PC. But basically what we're going to look at here is we're going to go over what Phil said on the pre-stream podcast today. Plus we'll touch base on his claim that if he streamed from a notebook, that the notebook would overheat, which is full of shit. I just want to let everybody know that on Saturday, the stream that I did, where I actually built a PC, was all streamed off of my notebook. So, X to doubt there, Phil. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So let's get into this now. We'll start off with just by watching a little bit of Phil from this morning. Here we go.
That's anything of any real like interest or importance, to me anyway, is called 2 Point Campus. It's from the makers of 2 Point Hospital, and it comes okay. And as I told you, one of the things that I'd like to plan out is a fun Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles pizza party. For a while, even September at this point is kind of bare bones. What I likely will do is reassess the game release schedule soon and go through it, because we're at a situation where I might have
not
DSP. Updated the schedule in a couple of months, and there might be more releases that I'm not aware of. So I want to definitely look at that and make sure I'm not missing out on anything. Okay? Okay. Now, before we get into game news, I have an update regarding my status of getting a new PC. As you know, the entirety of last week's Level 1 podcasts, all right, we went through the components, the ideal components that I would want if I were to get a brand new PC to replace my current one and upgrade my setup in order to basically do capture and streaming, okay? Because right now my PC, by the way, last night I had another corrupted video. Yes, it was part 9 of Fable, corrupted. Luckily, I was able to, on the fly, find a way to export that video portion from the live stream, so it wasn't really an issue. But at the same time, if these videos are corrupting now every 2 weeks or so, it's going to keep happening, right? My PC is starting to die. It's not a good sign. I need to basically get a new one.
No, you don't. Okay, I've been over this. Clean your fucking computer. Reinstall Windows completely. Low level, run a security erase on the SSD. Run a low level format on the HDD. And then reinstall everything. Phil, you'd be fine. The corruption, more than likely, is probably because of your shitnet. And if you just power cycle your modem, you might be fine. Or you know what? Better yet, upgrade your fucking line.
So, we talked about the ideal state components. The best processor, the graphics card, the hard drives, the capture device, everything I would want if it was ideal, and basically I wasn't really caring about budget or whatever. All right.
Exactly, right? Phil didn't give a shit about budget. He was just like, I want a $3,000 computer, and this is what I want, not realizing that what he wanted was going to cost more than $3,000. Now, in a couple seconds here, you're gonna hear Phil finally state that even $2,500 is too much. Again, this is where it comes into he has probably watched my videos, and this guy or whatever other pay cucks are talking to him are probably telling him, "Oh, Prophet said you didn't need that. You could just do easily with this and save some money." And of course, Phil's never going to admit to that because that's the narcissism, right? Phil is always right. We were always wrong. Okay. So let's keep listening here.
Right. And we went through that, right? So there you go. So since then, basically what's happened is, I've been talking with this person who wants to help me to finance this PC. And we went online.
OIC. Okay. It's OIC, Phil. Come on. It's original Ice Cuck. Everybody knows that already because he's already admitted that he had the $1,500 put away on Agent Proper's interview. And the key word here is they're going to help Phil finance the PC. So let me get this straight. Because of your bankruptcy and your shit credit, you cannot finance it yourself. So somebody else is going to put it under their name, finance it, and then give it to you? What? I wouldn't want my name on a legal document for even family. You gotta be fucking shitting me, Phil. You're gonna let some stranger finance a computer for you because your gouty ass has no credit. You don't want to put any money away to improve your stream. So you're gonna rely on a stranger to do it for you. That is the most fucking disgusting thing I have ever heard.
And we went to one of those websites where you can pick and choose all your components. All right. If I were to get all the components that we came to a conclusion would be the optimal situation, all right, for me to have this PC, it would have been over $2,200 to $2,300 because it's that plus.
Okay, that's obviously a lie because we all did that as well, and we knew exactly what you wanted. You wanted the 5800X, you wanted a 3070, you wanted a 1 terabyte Windows drive, which is fucking retarded. You wanted a 4 terabyte backup. We priced that out. That was over $3,000, Phil. It wasn't 2,200 to 2,300. Damn, that's a good clip screenshot right there. Fucking gouty piece of shit. So you're already lying, okay? We know the system that you wanted wasn't going to be about 22 to 2,500. We already know that. It was over $3,000.
Tax and everything else, all right? Basically, that's too expensive, okay? So
no fucking shit, that's too expensive.
Basically what we're doing right now is we're talking about like what could be realistically downgraded and not have a major effect. So for example, we were talking about either a 3070 or a 3060 Ti graphics card. Do I really need that? The answer is no. Okay? Absolutely no. All right? The answer is Jasper, you're being very silly and demanding of attention this morning. All right? The answer is I could downgrade that because I'm not going to play games on this PC. The whole.
Okay, so right there, a lot of viewers in Phil's chat want him to play PC games. That's never gonna fucking happen. And Phil has just admitted he doesn't plan to play games on this PC. Now, can we consider Fightcade a game being played on the PC? Phil's never gonna play Fightcade. Phil lies about it being full of cheaters and the GGPO and then a rollback netcode, even though it doesn't have a rollback netcode, it does use GGPO, which is a prediction-based netcode. Phil's never going to play it because it's full of pros. Like if you go on there right now and you go underneath Third Strike, there's like 3,000 people playing. I guarantee, and a lot of those guys you can see they're ranked, right? They're like A, B, C, D, E, and F. Most of the guys on there are probably B, C grade. There's some A's on there that are like fucking pro, meaning that Phil's going to get fucking bodied playing Fightcade. So he ain't going to do that. So again, he's not going to game on this PC. Gotcha. Okay? Perfect.
point of me getting a higher end graphics card like that was supposed to be that I'm basically kind of future proofing myself to want to play games on it.
Okay. Anybody, when someone tells you about future proofing their PC, they're full of shit. There's no such thing as future proofing. Okay? You could have bought a 2080 when it came out. As soon as Cyberpunk came out a year later, that game was unplayable on a 2080. It was useless, right? You couldn't do it. It could do ray tracing, but as soon as you enabled ray tracing, you'd lose like 60% performance. So, future proofing really isn't a thing. What you need to do is you want to buy, if you're just getting into streaming or gaming, you want to make sure that you have a motherboard that has at least PCIe Gen 4 and that supports DDR4, DDR5. Okay? That's your starting base for your platform. Then you can choose a lower end processor, a lower end graphics card, and then whatever RAM you want with your system and your hard drives. Over the next, like say the following year, upgrade something. If you want to go from 16 gig to 32 gigs of memory, do it. If you want to put in a more powerful processor, do it. If you want to upgrade your video card, do it. Don't build this high-end system for yourself and then go, oh, it's future-proof, only to find out a year later there's a game that's going to come out that basically makes your system run like shit. Okay, so get future-proofing out of your head. It's a long process of keeping the computer upgraded and knowing what you're going to want to use it for.
But now I would say, well, if I'm trying to save a lot of money and not spend $2,400, you could probably cut hundreds of dollars off the price tag by downgrading the graphics card to something more mid-range. You see, hard drive, we had said 1 terabyte. I can likely get away with a 500 gigabyte SSD.
You can get away with a 250 gigabyte Windows drive, Phil. You don't even need a 500 gigabyte. So all you're doing is you're choosing the big number, Phil. You're looking at it, it's like, oh, 1 terabyte. That's got to be good. Okay? You have no idea what you want to use. And you're listening to all these deadheads in your chat who are all like, oh, you need a 3090 Ti and you need 64 gigs of RAM. You need to be listening to somebody like me, okay, that's worked in IT for 34 years, okay? I understand what people like. That's why I couldn't do sales at Best Buy when I worked in Geek Squad, because I couldn't lie to people being like, oh, we want to just browse the internet and take some pictures and things, and it's like, oh yeah, we got this new Asus Zephyr notebook, it's $3,000, it'll do you good and everything, it'll last you a long time. No, fuck, you don't need a $3,000 notebook or a $3,000 desktop to do that shit. You could buy an $800 Nook and away you go. That's all you really need. But all Phil sees is big number must be good.
SSD for the main hard drive of the PC. You see, graphics card. Excuse me, not graphics card. Capture card. Originally, we were saying get a high-end 4K capture card. Am I going to be capturing in 4K? No, I'm not. I'm not capturing in 4K. Right now, I'm going to be doing 1080p 60 frames. That's all I care about for now.
There's an issue here with the capture card. And what Phil doesn't realize is that if you want to get a capture card that does 1080p 60, if you're getting a card that just does full HD capture, meaning 1080p 60, it's only going to allow 1080p 60 pass through. So you have to go with a 4K capture card, Phil. And we'll actually look at this here in a little bit.
Maybe years down the line, I'm going to care about 4K. And if that's the case, maybe years down the line, I buy the 4K capture card. For now, I don't really need it. So 1080p capture card, right? RAM. Again, a lot of people were even saying, why do you need 32 gigs? Nothing uses 32 gigs right now. 16 gigs is the standard for RAM. You see? So basically by taking the things that we kind of went a little overboard on, saying if you have unlimited budget, ideal state, what would you want, right? We could basically kind of downgrade a little bit and say, okay, what's more reasonable price-wise, and what realistically am I going to be using right now all the time that's going to improve my content versus what was some of the stuff that we were talking about that would be kind of excessive.
Okay, do you know what you need right now, Phil, to improve your content? Clean out your fucking PC, like I said, and set everything up properly. Your system is perfectly capable of doing 4K 60 FPS. Shit, it could probably do 8K 30 FPS. Okay? All that's going to matter is your webcam. And no, your webcam is not going to cause your CPU to use 90% of its CPU power. Fuck, on the weekend I did mine off my notebook, my Asus Scar 2. I had a double cam set up, 4K 60. No problem. Barely used any resources on my notebook.
Would be nice to have, right? So, Jasper, could you not put your tail in my mouth? Please. Please?
That's our inside man right there.
Thank God we're playing Final Fantasy today. Imagine if I was playing an action-based game and he's going to be like this. He's going to be so attention-demanding today. He's being a nut today. All right. So anyway, here we go. So basically, what we're looking at doing now is realistically, all right, how can I still get a PC but not spend $2,400? You know, can I knock $500 to $750 or more off the price tag? And the answer is probably yes.
We could knock off way more than that, Phil, and we're actually going to prove it here in a little bit.
Okay, probably yes. All right, Jasper, it's time for you to get down. Okay. So I'm going to be working with this person to see what we can do realistically. The thing is, the ideal thing would be get a pre-built. If you get a pre-built, they're cheaper usually.
X the down on that one, motherfucker. When you buy a pre-built, you pay a luxury tax, especially if you buy from Dell/Alienware, HP Omen, CyberPower. You're going to pay a price for that name, okay? What you need to look at is if you go into a place like Micro Center, and Micro Center has its own branded PCs as well, but then you can choose the parts and have them build it for you, and you're not paying that luxury tax. Unfortunately, in Seattle, there is no Micro Center. There probably is something similar in Seattle. I don't know. I haven't been to Seattle in 22 years. So Phil would need to shop around in town, and this is probably his best bet, again, for getting this computer. Buying a pre-built, and we're actually going to go through here in a little bit, and we're going to look at CyberPower, and we're going to do a custom PC through them, and I'm going to show you how much more money it is, aside from building it by yourself.
The problem is with pre-builts, there's almost always something missing. Like, oh my God, it's a perfect pre-built. Look, it's like $1,350, but there's no capture device. Now I'd have to buy a capture device, install it myself, get it working, which I could do, but that's not really what I want to do. I want this to show up, and then I can immediately just get it going. You know, plug it in, get everything installed, start using it. Now, oh, it's here, but then I got to open the PC, which voids the warranty immediately. Install.
No, it doesn't. Opening your PC does not void your warranty, especially with right-to-fix laws in the United States. I don't know one PC system builder, that states that if you open the side of your computer, you void your warranty. None of them have that anymore. None of them have that, Phil. And you're lying, okay?
Install things, install drivers. Oops, now it's not working. Now I got to fuck with it. I don't want to do that. I want to just have it show up, plug it in, it works.
And that's why you're having the problem that you're currently having, Phil. You refuse to do any maintenance on your computer. All you want to do is turn it on, and it works. Unfortunately, with updates to software, updates to drivers, updates to Windows, it's required. I do it daily. I get to work, I log on to station drivers, I take a look what's the latest beta drivers or drivers that haven't been released yet or that are up for testing. I go through that. I look at some network components that I want to buy for myself because I want to get a better wireless network set up right now, but I'm just not paying fucking $700 for a wireless router. Okay, it's just not going to happen.
Okay. And again, the thing is, some of the things I know we can go back on, like the RAM. I could get 16 gigs now, and then a few years down the line, if I feel like, okay, I really need 32, I could just buy the RAM and install it. The RAM is easy as shit to install.
Okay, so why didn't you do that with the Lemon PC? You got that fucking Lemon PC built by those two nudniks that you called on your stream. Okay, All that was bad was one stick of RAM, and it probably just needed to be reseated. Instead, you went and spent $3,000 on the CyberPower PC. But if you're saying RAM is so easy to install, why the fuck didn't you do it years ago? Come on, Phil. Waiting for that answer.
RAM has always been easy as shit to install. You don't even need drivers or nothing for it. You just plug the fuck in and it works. So
False. That's why we have things called XMP, right, on the Intel side. XMP you have to enable in the BIOS to make sure that the right SBD selections are done for the memory. Otherwise, your memory is going to show up underclocked and not running at the right timings.
that I'm not really worried about. You see, that's something very easy. So anyway, I'll let you guys know when we have more information about this. Right now, it's being worked on behind the scenes. Obviously, it's something that I would like to do, you know, in the next maybe month, because
He wants it right now, right? He just can't wait. He wants that new thing, that new toy right now. And the money he doesn't have is burning a hole in his pocket right now. So basically, Phil goes on to talk about notebooks and how they don't have capture cards. Well, we can just do this, Phil. Hit up evga.com, go to products, and we'll go to capture devices. XR1 Lite is an excellent capture card, USB pass-through, right? USB-C. It supports HDMI in and out, meaning that it does 4K 60 pass-through, 1080p 60 FPS video capture. Excellent, right? That's exactly what Phil wants, and it's only $60 American, right? So you can do a notebook. Like I said, I had my notebook here on Saturday with a dual cam setup. One camera was using my phone, which was 4K 60 FPS. If you watch that video, that was the video that froze because unfortunately my phone died and I didn't have my QR power cable to it and it couldn't charge fast enough. Okay, the second cam was a 1080p 60 coming off my notebook. And my phone was actually recording over Wi-Fi. That's right. The whole entire thing was streamed on Wi-Fi. So fuck you, Phil. So what you could do, nice little notebook. It's not going to overheat like Phil claimed in the video today. Nice tiny little notebook, 4 cores, maybe 16 gigs of RAM, 4-core 8-threaded processor, 16 gig of RAM, integrated graphics, and maybe a nice NVMe drive with a data drive through USB on backup, and this USB capture card. Excellent. Phil, you can save tons of money. You could do it through a notebook. You can go outside for once, maybe do a stream from outside. There's an idea for you, but that's way too complicated. So let's just go on now to customizing our own PC, basically using CyberPower's website. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to CyberPower. We're going to go to gaming PCs and we're going to go to custom configurator. Now what we're going to do is we're going to choose an AMD Ryzen 7, and the only system that comes up is one system. Okay, now this system is $1,659.99. Now this, you're going to find out here really quick why I refuse to use a system builder. Now this is basically just like an NZXT branded case and everything. So we'll go down here and you have your core component options. Okay, now we're just going to go with CyberPower PC Amethyst 2, right? It's whatever they have available for their cases. We could probably go with a dinkier case. We're just going to leave the bare bone case as it is. Okay, this is the NZXT one that I recommended in my prior video, right? It's going to be an extra $24. We're not going to go with that. We're just going to leave this the way it is. Okay, and this case that it comes with supports a 240 millimeter liquid cooler. Not going to go with that. So basically, we're going to scroll down. We're not going to do any laser engraving because that's fucking stupid. Okay, extra case fans. We're just going to use the included case fans. We're not going to fuck around with anything different from that. Now we come to the processors. So we have an AMD Ryzen 5700G. This is a 8-core, 12-threaded processor, or 8-core, 16 threads, and it supports integrated Vega 8 graphics. Now, we can go one better, and we can go down to the 5600G. This is just a 6-core 12-threaded with a Vega 7 graphics. Will still support hardware encoding through AMD's hardware encoder, which is perfect. This is all Phil needs. Remember, he's not gaming on the computer, so there's no need for a graphics card. Now they offer this fucking Venom Boost bullshit overclocking whatever, right? That's full of crap. Now, he goes with they come with a 120 mil or 140 mil liquid cooler. We're not going to go with that. We're going to drop that down to just the Wraith cooler that comes with the AMD processor, which is going to save another $12. Don't need to worry about any of the cooling, none of that shit. Now, this is where the problem begins. When you go with a pre-built, even though we're using an integrated graphics, they don't give you an option to use without a graphics card. You have to have a graphics card. This is bullshit because you could eliminate like $300 off the system easily by getting rid of the video card, right? Like I said in my previous video. So we'll just leave this rinky-dink one alone. We can't swap it out. Sure, we can go to a lower end model, like we can do what's going to save us the most amount of money here. Minus 220, minus 265. It's a GT 1030, 2 gig. Right? But we're just going to leave that alone, okay? Because we're not going to use. We don't want it. It's garbage, okay? Freebie video card bundle we don't give a shit about. HTC Vive virtual reality headset, right? Like Phil's gonna fucking run around with a headset on, right? Now I want to go to more of a platinum based or a titanium based hard drive, and we're gonna go with the Thermaltake Tough Power that they have here. But again, this increases the price by $124. Like that's insane. That's I can guarantee you they're overcharging for the power supplies on these. Now with the motherboard, we're going to go with the B550, but we're going to go with the Asus Tough Gaming, the same one that we had originally in the system that I had priced out earlier because of the 2.5 gigabit LAN. The memory, we're going to use 16 gigabyte DDR4 3600 megahertz. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be using this. And then we're going to go down to the hard drives. Now, what we're going to look for is, see, this is what I mean about the builder screwing you over. So basically all they're offering you is like, you can't even get a 256 gigabyte drive. You have to go with a 500 gigabyte, which is bullshit. So we'll go with the 500 gig Samsung 980 Pro because it's PCIe Gen 4. It allows for those faster speeds, 6900 megabyte read, 5000 megabyte write. Then we're going to go with the data backup with an Iron Wolf from Seagate of 4 terabyte, Iron Wolf Pro. We don't need 2 drives, fuck you. Everything else is fine. Oops. Where is that again? Right there. And then we have to do a secondary drive down here. Okay, so we have those. Now, external storage. No, we don't need that. That's a waste. No, we don't need a wide-eye router. We don't need a video capture card. We actually do need. Now, this is where we run into a problem. Phil wants that AverMedia, right? Well, the AverMedia, if you were to go with one, which is and these are expensive on here, and I mean expensive, okay? These are not good prices for this product. This one here, the GC570, will not support 4K pass-through. It can only do 1080p 60 capture, 1080p 60 pass-through. Phil would have to go with this one here because Phil wants to be able to play 4K 60 on his TV, even though it doesn't support HDR because of the peak brightness of the TV doesn't reach that more than 256 nits of peak brightness, which means it doesn't even support HDR 400, which is the lowest HDR possible. So he's going to have to go with a higher end graphics or a capture card. So we're going to need to add this one in because we're going to add AverMedia. That's the one Phil wants. Remember, we don't need a Wi-Fi card because it's got built in. We don't need high definition audio because that's all built in. We don't need a monitor. Then we'll come down to, we don't want speakers. We don't want a keyboard and we don't want a mouse because Phil already has those. They're worthless. We don't need to buy that. Phil should probably get a new microphone. These are the wireless routers. Fuck, if I could afford it, I'd buy a GTA XE 11,000 from Asus. This wireless router is the shit. It's a quad band router, meaning that it supports 2.4 gigahertz, a 5G 1, a 5G 2, and the new 6 gigahertz. They also offer webcams. Now, none of these webcams are, I don't think any of them are worth it. Okay, I'd rather go with a nice Logitech 4K, is it Bravia camera for like $250 Canadian. So that's like, say, $200 American. Great card, does 4K 60, 1080p 60. It'll be perfect, supports HDR. So we've reached the end. Windows 11 Home, I don't want to do Windows 11 Home. I want Windows 11 Pro because I want the better network functionality plus the backup features. So we'll go with that. Now remember, this is all coming from the building. Now look at this bullshit. You want to see some fucking bullshit here? Ultra care options. Ultra enhanced packaging. The fuck? CPU thermal compound. So what, do you not use CPU thermal compound when you put the cooler on the processor? I would hope you'd use something. And yes, there are compounds out there. The one that I used on the weekend, like I told you guys, the Cryonaut, it's a very excellent cooling compound. There is one better that the router sells. I don't have it. Wish I did. Standard warranty, 1-year parts and labor, 3-year service plan. This probably costs a bundle. Like, I'm not joking. That probably costs a bundle. So here's our price. Subtotal, $2,132. That is insane. Now remember, the base of this system cost was $1,659. So they say. Okay? Now we eliminated parts off this computer and somehow it went up in price. Remember, that's just to be able to get you to click on the link that they show you. Then you're really going to have to drop things down. So this system here, $2,132 from CyberPower, right? And then you're going to have to add tax onto that. So let's add some tax here. So we know that in Washington State, they use a 6.5% sales tax. So Phil's total cost is going to be $2,270.58. This is if he buys it through a pre-built, okay, like CyberPower. Again, remember, so $2,270. Keep that in mind, okay? Now, let's go back to the PC part picker. This is an identical system. It's got a 8-core processor, 16 threads instead of the 5600G that we just did previously. It's got the same motherboard. It's got the same RAM. It's got the same backup drive. It's got a smaller Windows drive for 250 gig because that's all he needs. It's got the exact same. It's got a little bit better case. It's got a Corsair Platinum rated power supply for $129. Here's our base price, $861.93. Let's just bring up Notepad here really quick. Here's CyberPower's price. We know that for sure. Sorry about that. May have hit the wrong button. So we know for sure that CyberPower is going to be at least almost $2,300. Okay. So that's going to be 2270.58. So that's from CyberPower. This is building the system ourselves. So we have the base price, $861.93. Now, here is the AverMedia GC7573. This supports 4K 60 and has 4K 60 pass-through. So this is an excellent card for Phil. This because he wants to stay with AverMedia, right? My preference would be to go with the Elgato. I find it a lot better quality. It's able to do 240 hertz pass-through, meaning that Phil can capture in 1080p 240 hertz rather than 1080p 60. He's not going to do that because he's not too bright. He won't be able to figure that out. This is a little bit cheaper than the AverMedia, and it's a probably better quality one. But Phil wants AverMedia, so we'll go with that. So we're going to add AverMedia's price into the mix. That's plus 264.06. Plus, we're going to go with the, remember, like I said last time, Windows 11 Pro, $2434, still on sale. Look at that. Plus 2434 equals times 1.065 equals $1,225.10. So, for a better computer built by yourself, Phil's going to be saving $1,050 if he were to do it on his own. And like I said on Saturday, his best bet, make a stream out of it, Phil. Get all the parts there, build it yourself. You said you used to build computers 20 years ago. I proved Saturday that I could do it in an hour and a half, get Windows loaded, get OBS loaded, and then while we're restreaming your gouty ass, I sat here just playing around on Fightcade while my viewers and I laughed at you the entire time. Okay? So here's the price of the computer that you want, Phil. $1,225.10. This is all you need. Then you can buy the $200 webcam. It's $1,425, right? You're still cheaper than the PC that you want and that you're going to beg for. Okay? All you're doing, Phil, is you're wasting money. You have no idea what you need for your setup. All you do is ask for what you want. Okay? You really need to sit down and think about where you're going to be going with this stream. Okay? Your content is shit. Okay? You do the same thing day in and day out. You wake your ass up at 10:30 a.m., you roll out of bed with your Sonic pajamas on, you run some water through your hair, you jump on stream, you shadow ban people before the stream even starts. Then you get on, you hit start stream, start recording, and then you scream for an hour and a half about shit that you know nothing about or crap that you read on Twitter. And then for the next 7 hours, you play fucking video games that nobody really gives a shit about. Okay? You refuse to do members only gameplay when you can still run a normal stream and just play games with members. It's very easy to do. And you don't want to do that, and all you want to do is sit there and beg for money, beg for money, beg for money. And now you want to beg for money, beg for a new PC, beg for money for a camera, beg for money for fucking lighting that you do not need. You put lighting in that room, Phil, you realize the amount of heat that's going to increase in that room? Clean that fucking room out. I showed you on my last video. All you had to do, download Sweet Home 3D, plan out your room, and then do it. I did it for you. Took me like an hour. I made the room better airflow, better looking, better environment, better atmosphere. And we all know from all the pictures and the videos that you've done in the past that it's just a complete fucking pigsty. Like, you're going to clean out this stupid fucking closet here this weekend. And I really don't want to do the restream on that because it's just going to be fucking boring. And I'm going to get so fucking angry looking at how much money he's wasted over the last decade that I'm going to lose my shit. Okay? Now, that being said, maybe I will restream it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I like to get together with the rest of the detractors and see who wants to do what and figure this out. But here we go. This is all Phil needs. Total cost, capture card, the whole PC, Windows 11 Professional, bingo, $1,225.10. That's all Phil needs. This is what he needs. Phil could buy this with his next YouTube payment. Or if he wasn't playing fucking WWE champions like a retard and blowing thousands of dollars a day on those digital JPEGs, on the sweaty man JPEGs, he could get this computer this week. Not gonna lie. Walk into a computer shop in Renton. I guarantee there's a computer shop in Renton somewhere. take a screenshot of this, print it out, Phil, take it in, ask them for it. Tell them you want the AverMedia GC573 capture card in it, and away you go. Enough said, right? So, quit begging for this PC, Phil. Build what you need, not what you want. Okay? So, guys, want to thank you again, all the new subscribers to the channel. Want to thank those who attended the live stream on Saturday. It was an awesome stream. You saw me build the PC and everything. Went off perfectly. I will be streaming again Fight Night this coming Friday. I'm taking 4 days off of work, so I'm going to have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. Just want to take some time off, just do a little bit of housework here, get the yard work done and everything like that. I may do a video. I want to get that Street Fighter 30th anniversary versus Capcom Fighting Collection versus Fightcade done, because that's going to be an eye-opener, even for Phil. But again, I want to thank everybody for the channel. If you like the content, please like it. And subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.